Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Today we will discuss the metabolism and excretion under the pharmacokinetic phases, that how drugs are metabolized and how they are excreted from the system. The key concepts are: what is metabolism of drugs, what are inactive metabolites which are produced during the metabolism of drugs, and what are the metabolites uh, which are produced in a system having the similar activity as that of drug, and metabolites which are produced during metabolism exhibiting a dissimilar pattern of activity as that of parent drug, and the toxic metabolites, how they are produced during metabolism of any drug, and how drug is excreted from the system. First is metabolism. Drug metabolism is the biotransformation of the drug into other compounds, and this biotransformation is carried out inside of living system, and these new compounds which are produced as the result of breakdown of some functionality or the group or the linkages or some bond in a drug molecule leads towards the formation of the secondary type of the compounds which are known as metabolites. And these metabolites are usually more water soluble than their parent drug molecule, as that we have already go through it, that the water solubility of the drug and its metabolite play an important role in its absorption, in its distribution, and its metabolism, and certainly after metabolism in its excretion as well. It means that the drug molecule which undergoes certain type of breakage or the cleavage of some functionality groups or the bonds leads to such type of the molecules or the metabolites which are more water soluble. When they are more soluble in comparison to the parent drug molecule, then they are usually excreted in urine in a very efficient or the significant amount, and overall process is very efficient one. And it usually involves more than one route, and it results in the formation of succession of the metabolites. It means that during this metabolism of drugs, the drug may, it's not necessary that it will undergo only one route or only one pattern to break some bonds, or you can say group, or the removal of some groups, but it results in the formation of rows or the succession of the metabolites. It means one metabolite is formed, then it will enter into another route, which leads to the formation of certain other type of the metabolites. It means that the whole process of metabolism is not an easier or the simple one, but it has the complex chemistry as well. For example, one drug is reported over here, which is lignocaine. Its metabolism is shown over here. That lignocaine undergoes different type of reaction like it may undergo the oxidation, it may undergo the dealkylation reaction, hydrolysis, and this hydrolysis may be at the certain stage, like directly or after producing a metabolite. This metabolite then undergo hydrolysis, and the oxidation may be at the primary level. Then after, you can see here that one metabolite which is produced, it will then undergo the oxidation reaction. Similarly, this metabolite which was produced undergo the different type of oxidation reactions as well. Then we will discuss the one, um, you can say one by one, all these metabolic pathway. That lignocaine molecule when undergo oxidation, and this oxidation occurs in such a way that it resulted in the formation of 3-hydroxy lignocaine molecule. It means that hydroxylation occurs over here on the benzene ring. And when this 3-hydroxylignocaine is produced, it undergoes further, you can say, breakdown or the elimination of certain type of group, or you can say reformation or oxidation or reduction reaction, which leads to the formation of the simpler one metabolites. And like if we talk about the dealkylation reaction, then it means that there is elimination of the alkyl group, and this is in fact the N-dealkylation reaction. Like alkyl group, ethyl group is removed from the nitrogen. And similarly, if this molecule undergoes hydrolysis, then the hydrolysis reaction will cause the cleavage of molecule from this linkage. It means that this whole group will be released as the carboxylic acid derivative, whereas this NH will attain the form of amino group. And after that, the hydrolysis of lignocaine yields 2,6-dimethyl aniline. And the dealkylated product, which was the monoethyl glycyl xylidite, like this one molecule, one ethyl group is removed from here. It may attain this hydrolysis pathway. It can attain this pathway to undergo oxidation. And third one, pathway which is concerned with the dealkylation of this monoethyl uh, glycyl glycyl derivative will occur. In this way, when dealkylation is carried out, then what will happen, that this monoethyl functionality or simple ethyl group will also be cleaved from the nitrogen. Therefore, this nitrogen will attain overall, like uh, it will attain amino form. In this way, the dealkylation of this metabolite will occur, and if it undergoes the oxidation pathway, then again oxidation yields the 3-hydroxy group like this 3-hydroxy group. But this molecule will be certainly different from this one because it has two ethyl group at the nitrogen, but it has only one. And further, it will undergoes other type of reaction to give simpler metabolites as well. Similarly, when it will undergoes hydrolysis, there is cleavage of bond from here, and in this way 2,6-dimethyl-aniline will be formed. When 2,6-dimethyl-aniline is formed, it can attain multiple oxidations, like in one oxidation reaction 4-hydroxy derivative is formed, which is 4-hydroxy 2,6-dimethyl-aniline. And if this undergo the oxidation in such a way that the side chain oxidation or the alkyl group is oxidized into the carboxylic acid group, then in this way we can conclude that the drug molecule undergoes multiple type of oxidation, dealkylation, and hydrolysis of bond occur, hydrolysis of some bonds occur in it, and therefore it will result in the formation of different types of the metabolites. And these metabolites will differ from one another in their you can say in their absorption, in their excretion from the system. And these biotransformations occur mainly in the liver, but they can also occur in the blood, other organs such as brain, lungs, and kidneys. Because we have seen that the blood is mainly responsible for the distribution of drug throughout the body. And in the drug, in fact, the water molecules are responsible, and no doubt in blood there are other carrier proteins like albumin, such as they all are responsible for the traveling, for the transfer of the drug molecule from a site of absorption towards their site of action. Therefore, if the drug molecule was undergoing the metabolism, and this metabolism or the biotransformation, it occurs mainly in the liver, and to some extent it occurs in other body parts as well. And the drugs that are administered orally usually pass through the liver before they are going towards reaching or the general circulatory system. So it means that after administration, uh, the drugs which are in the liver, or the drugs molecule which reaches or which have already traveled towards the liver, then their biotransformation or the metabolism will start it. And consequently, some of the drug will be metabolized before it reaches the systemic circulation. And therefore, this must be the loss of the drug molecule, and this loss is generally referred to as either the first pass effect or the first pass metabolism. It means that drug molecules must be lost. If we have taken like 100 milligram of the drug, then it will not be the 100 milligram of the drug which will reach at its target, because some of the drug will be lost at many stages, while traveling or while distributing or while metabolizing through the body. And further metabolic losses will also be encountered before the drug reaches its target site. It means that before reaching a certain, like train is going towards a certain, you can say a city or the station, but before reaching to that station, it has to pass through many other stations, like the drug, if its target or receptor is some way in, like it's in the hand, but it has to go towards many other stations. Stations mean many other, like tissues, many other, towards many other type of the receptors as well. Therefore, these all are responsible. These are all also known as the compartments. They all also responsible for the metabolic losses of the drug molecule. And therefore, it is important to administer a dose larger enough for the sufficient of a drug molecule to reach its target site. Because in the last lecture, we have discussed that in order for a certain drug to show its pharmaceutical or the therapeutic action, the drug molecule concentration must be in the therapeutic window. If the drug concentration level falls, then it will unable to show its therapeutic action, because many losses were responsible for the, you can say, the loss of the drug molecule, and therefore their effective concentration will definitely be decreased. And therefore the first loss, uh, whatsoever is possible, is the first pass effect, and for which liver is responsible. Here is shown the dramatical representation of the first pass effect, that the drug molecule which are lost through the liver. Like from the gut wall, and absorption through portal vein, which go towards the liver, and from the intestine through the systemic absorption. Uh, Here it's shown as the bioavailability of the drug. It means that the drug molecules which are available in the circulatory system to reach its target to show or impart its therapeutic effect. But unfortunately, some drug molecules are metabolized in the liver, and therefore, before reaching towards the stage of bioavailability, they have lost through the liver, and therefore liver is responsible for the metabolism of some of the drug molecule. And therefore, if the drug molecule which was taken in 100 milligram, it means that like 5 to 10 milligram is lost in the liver due to the metabolism of the drug molecule. And definitely in this way, the less concentration of the drug molecule which will be available in the biological system, and these drug molecules will definitely be traveled with the, you can say, blood, and reach towards their receptors or the binding site. And drug metabolism may produce metabolites that are pharmacological. They can be inert. They may have the same or the different actions in comparison to the parent or the drug molecule, or these metabolites which are produced after the metabolism of the drug molecule, they can be even toxic as well. And exceptions are in case of prodrugs, where metabolism is in fact responsible for producing an active drug. It means that metabolism will go in the favor of the prodrugs, because the prodrugs are or will be changed into the active form. In addition, the metabolic products of the drug may be used as the lead for the development of new drugs. It means that if lignocaine is metabolized into a certain metabolite by dealkylation or oxidation, and these type of the intermediates in the drug metabolisms may be used as the lead for the development of new type of the drug, which will definitely impart the same type of therapeutic action or the different in comparison to that of lead molecule. For example, the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory agent Sulindac is metabolized to the active sulfide. Like here is change in the group identity, or you can say the change in the chemistry of this group, and it has been changed into the sulfide form, making only the sulfur is making only two bond, but here sulfur is making like one bond with the phenyl ring, and second with the methyl, and two bonds with the oxygen, making four bonds over here. And therefore when it's going to be formed such type of the sulfide um, functionality, then it will definitely be metabolized after undergoing the reduction reaction. And here is the inactive administrative form of the drug, but after metabolism it becomes active one and active sulfide metabolite of the original drug, which was the Sulindac. And what are the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory agents? They are called NSAIDs, and they are in fact the class of the drug or the drug class that reduce pain, it decreases fever, it prevents blood from clotting, and in higher doses it decreases inflammation or swelling of wound, or in certain you can say region, certain muscles or the body parts as well. Next is inactive metabolites. It means that during the course of metabolism of drug, some metabolites are produced which are not showing any activity towards the body, like the routes that result in inactive metabolites are classified as the detoxification process. It means that inactive metabolites, they are also responsible for the detoxification of some molecules, like detoxification of, if phenol is required, then what will be happening, or what it will undergo in the body is that it results in the formation of phenyl hydrogen sulfate, which is pharmacological inactive in comparison to the phenol. And this compound is very water soluble because of these such type of the functionality, and is readily excreted from the kidney. It means that if we want to detoxify body from the phenol, then naturally what's happening in the body, that by enzyme phenol sulfokinase, the phenol group will be changed into the phenyl hydrogen sulfate form, and this phenyl hydrogen sulfate is more water soluble, and therefore due to its higher water solubility during filtration process which is occurring in the kidney, it will be removed from the body very easily. It means that such type of inactive metabolites are very essential or very fruitful for the body, because they are responsible for the detoxification of some toxins. Next is metabolites with a similar activity to the drugs. It means that the metabolites which are produced during the course of drug metabolism, the metabolites exhibit the activities which is similar to that of drug molecule from which they have been produced, or they have been, you can say, come into being. And in this situation, the metabolite can exhibit either a different potency or duration of action, or both with respect to the original drug. It means that metabolites which are produced as the result of drug metabolism, they may have uh, different duration of action. And duration of action, what does it mean? It is the length of the time that a particular drug is effective. It means that overall, if the drug will stay for 20 minutes, and whole 20 minutes are effective towards imparting or exhibiting the therapeutic action, then the duration of action is will be the 20 minutes. And this duration of action is the function of different parameters, which include the plasma half-life, and different equilibrium which are established between the plasma and the target compartments, and of the rate of the drug from its biological target as well. And therefore, here is the example of the a drug which is used to remove or reduce the anxiety, which is the diazepam, and which has a sustained action. It means that it gives relaxing effect to the body for a much longer time, and therefore it sustain its this pharmacological activity. But when it will undergo a metabolism, and the metabolism will leads towards the formation of the diazepam, and which has shown that it has a short duration of action in comparison to the diazepam. And this in return is further metabolized by the demethylation, and oxypam is produced, which has also a short duration of action. It means that metabolites which are produced from the certain drug, which may exhibit the similar type of activity, like these two metabolites are also exhibiting the action of what type of action, like reducing the anxiety. And but their duration of action is different. They are the short duration of action, which like oxypam and dimazepam have the short duration of action in comparison to the diazepam, which has the sustained action. Like when it will undergo the hydroxylation reaction, then diazepam will undergo the hydroxylation reaction at this carbon. And this carbon is very important, intervening between these two type of uh, like unsaturation, between two unsaturated groups. And diazepam, when it will undergo the N-demethylation reaction, and therefore N-methylation reaction means that there is removal of the methyl group from the nitrogen. Therefore, nitrogen is removed from the methyl group, and oxazepam will be formed in the body. But these two have the short duration of action to remove the anxiety condition in the body in comparison to the diazepam. Next is the metabolites with the dissimilar activity to the drug. It means that the metabolites which are produced as the result of metabolism of the drug, then these metabolites exhibit, show, or display different type of activity in comparison to their parent drug. And activity means this activity may be analgesic, this may be the pyretic, like drug may exhibit analgesic, antipyretics, they may be antibiotic, antidepressant, and so on. Like in these cases, the activity of metabolite has no relationship to that of parent drug. It means that they will show a certain new type of activity. For example, antidepressant drug is metabolized by the de-alkylation to the anti-tuberculosis drug, and this drug molecule, when it will undergo the de-alkylation reaction from the nitrogen, it means that from nitrogen this whole alkyl group will be removed, and it will change into the terminal amino primary group. And therefore this drug molecule was showing the antidepressant action, and by the de-alkylation reaction due to the metabolism, the metabolite which is produced is showing the anti-tuberculosis action. It means that the metabolite has the dissimilar activity in comparison to the parent drug. And this parent drug is iprone acid, and this is the isone acid, which is the you can say the metabolite which is produced after the de-alkylation or n-de-alkylation of the antidepressant molecule. And here is I have shown for you that what are the symbol definition of the antidepressant and anti-tuberculosis type of the drugs. Antidepressant is a drug which is used to prevent or the treat depression, and depression is what type of illness? It's the illness which involves the body and mood, thoughts, and that affects the way in which the person eats, sleep, feel about himself or herself, and thinks about the things, about the nature, about the surrounding, how he or she will think. And anti-tuberculosis mean which is due to the you can say some growth of nodules in the tissue and particularly in the lungs. And this is the infectious disease which is due to the infection of the bacteria, and a drug which is used to treat an infectious bacterial disease will be the anti-tuberculosis in a way, because it is characterized by the growth of the nodules in the tissues, especially in the lungs. And this anti-tuberculosis drug is responsible for giving the, you can say, for preventing such type of the nodules formation in the lungs, which result in the you can say malfunctioning of the lungs, or result in the breathing problem in the patient. Next is the toxic metabolites. Some toxic metabolites are also produced, and this toxic action usually arises because the metabolite either activates an alternative receptor, or it acts as a precursor for the other toxic compounds. It means it can activate other receptor that will show the toxic effect, and it will also take part in a certain type of reaction. It will in which these metabolite will behave as a starting material, and they will lead towards the formation of toxin or the toxic compounds in the body. For example, the example is shown over here, that the deacylation of the analgesic. Analgesic means such type of the drug which are used to relieve pain, reduce pain. Uh, Phenacetin yields paraphenetidine, which is believed to act as a precursor of the substances that causes the condition of the hemoglobin, globinemia. And this is the combination word which results in the you can say, deformation in the hemoglobin. And this condition is such that which causes headache, shortness of breath, difficulty in breathing, cyanosis. And cyanosis refers to the bluish cause to the skin. It means the skin becomes bluish, and in most of the cases skin becomes bluish because there is less oxygen level in the red blood cells, and therefore when there is less oxygen in the red blood cell, which are mainly the carrier of the oxygen in the body, therefore it will impart the blue coloration to the, in this case, the hands and feet become the blue in the color. And therefore this particular bluish discoloration to your hands or feet may take place, and it's usually caused by the low oxygen level. And this problem getting oxygenated blood to the body, it means that red blood cells is, or in fact the hemoglobin is not responsible for giving the appropriate concentration of oxygen to the body. And it's also characterized by the sickness and the fatigue, and it's caused by the presence of the methemoglobin, which is in fact the modified form of the hemoglobin in the blood. And and the methemoglobin is the hemoglobin in the form of metalloprotein, and in this form the heme group, which contains the iron, and the iron in this group is in the Fe plus 3 state, and not in the Fe plus 2 state as in the normal hemoglobin. Therefore, this methemoglobin can't bind oxygen in sufficient amount, which means that it will not carry sufficient supply of oxygen to the tissue. Therefore, definitely there will be the bluish coloration to the body. And here is the metabolism of the phenacetin drug, which is analgesic. Like first is the uh, uh, metabolite, which is produced after, like here there is N hydroxy group is introduced over here, rest of the structure is same. And therefore this N-hydroxy derivative, it will lead towards the toxicity, and toxicity in which term it result in the hepatotoxic. Hepatotoxic means it will cause the liver damage. And and if this phenacetin will go into another pathway, that metabolite will be resulted, that there is removal of this group C2H5, but in terms of ethanol, it means acetaldehyde is removed. Therefore, there is a hydroxyl group at the, you can say this para position, and this definitely these all you can say the metabolites which are produced, they will leads towards the um, you can say toxicity in the body. And this analgesic may also give another metabolite in which this whole acyl or the acetyl group is removed, and therefore you can say paraphenetidine or 4-ethoxyaniline is produced. It means that this was the main drug, and it leads the formation of these you can say metabolites, and these metabolites are showing the toxic effect. And therefore there is they comes under the terminology of the toxic metabolites. And next is the excretion. Excretion is the process by which the unwanted substances are removed from the body. And here in the medicinal chemistry or the drug chemistry, there must be the removal of the drug molecule. And the main excretion route for the drug and their metabolite is through the kidney. And However, a significant number of the drugs and their metabolic products are also excreted via the bowel in the feces, and other forms of the drug excretion like exhalation, like exhale, body exhale these drug molecule or their metabolites through the lungs. Um, and sweating are, but they don't, you can say, put a major role or the major percentages for the excretion of these drug molecules from the body. And modes of excretion are in the kidney. The drugs are excreted by the following ways, which may be the glomerular filtration or the tubular secretions. And glomerular filtration excrete small unbound drug molecule, but not the larger protein drug protein complexes. It means they will remain in the blood. And the tubular secretion, on the other hand, is responsible for the removal of both bound and unbound drug molecule. They can be excreted, and the process is mainly active transfer process. It means that these two processes, by these overall together, the efforts of by these two processes, the drug molecule are excreted. And in the kidney, the glomeruli act as the filter which allows the passage of the water, small molecule, and the ions, but they prevent the passage of the large molecule and the cells, or the, you can say, certain type of the beneficial ions molecules. They must be retained in the blood, but the unwanted material or the things or substances, drug molecule or metabolite will be expelled out from the body. And however, both of these excretion systems have the limited capacity, and not all the drug molecule will be eliminated. In addition, renal disease can considerably increase or decrease the rate of drug excretion. It means that if the person is feeling or having some renal disease, then in this way, rate of drug excretion by the kidney will be affected. They can considerably increase or the decrease the rate of elimination of the drug from the body. And here is the role of the kidney, that in the kidney there are a lot number of the filter system is present, and these in fact filtering system are the nephrons. And in kidneys, their major role is to take the unwanted material from the blood, and these unwanted materials should be eliminated in the form of urine from the body. Therefore, unfiltered blood will enter and filtered blood will came out. And this small section consists of main central part, glomerulus, and the tubular part. And therefore, it's only the one neuron, and kidney is in fact the consist of the large number of the nephrons, and therefore by the collective action of these all nephrons, there is filtration action in the kidneys, and therefore the unwanted material are removed by the glomerular part role, and tubular secretions, their, you can say, role. And overall, nephrons collectively, you can say, the filtered out the toxins, the toxic compounds, or you can say the drug metabolites, or the drug molecules which are no longer useful for the body. And tubular reabsorption as another terminology, and it's in fact the process which is normally employed in returning compounds such as water, amino acids, salt, and glucose that are important for the body. from the urine to the circulatory system. It means that tubular reabsorption and the secretions are the different terminologies, but it will also return some drug molecules as well. And this mechanism of reabsorption is no doubt very helpful for the body in order to prevent the losses of the important compounds from the body. And passive diffusion is there, but active transport mechanism is also involved, and especially for the glucose and the lithium ions. And the reabsorption of acidic basic compound is dependent on the, in fact, the pH of the urine. It means that yes, the pH of urine is very important to in order to excrete the drug molecule. And effect of pH of urine on excretion is that the reabsorption in the kidney of acidic and basic compound is dependent on the pH of the urine. For example, making the urine alkaline in case of poisoning by the acidic drug. If acidic drugs are administered in body and they are still in the present, like in case of aspirin, it will cause this drug to form the ionic salt due to the presence of um, you can say alkaline functionality. And therefore urine is main alkaline, and which will result in a significantly low tubular reabsorption, since the passage of the charged form of the drug across the lipid membrane is difficult one than the passage of uncharged. In this way, the definitely the reabsorption of the drug molecule will not take place, and these drug molecules will be eliminated from the body. It means that pH of the urine is very important. How you can change the pH of the urine as well by taking certain, you can say, alkaline or the acidic treatments. Similarly, in case of poisoning by the basic drug, like basic drug is amphetamine, and acidification of the urine can, for the similar reason, reduce the reabsorption. It means that this drug will also be eliminated after a certain person has a large concentration of this drug in its body by after treatment with some acidic, you can say, drug or the acidic by making by different parameters which result in the formation of the salt and therefore the removal. And the control of unit pH is also required for the drugs. Which type of drug? Whose concentration reaches a level in the urine that results in the crystallization in the urea, and which result the crystalluria and in the urinary tract and the kidney, with the subsequent leads to the tissue damage. And therefore, in order to prevent the crystallization of you can say these unwanted material or the substances in the body or later on in the urine, and therefore these concentration shouldn't be reach a level in the urine which would lead towards the crystallization of these drug molecules or the chemicals or the metabolites in the urinary tract, because they will definitely damage the urinary tract and the kidneys as well. And last is the lead optimization and ADME. It means that the main function of the drug is to reach its target in order to impart its pharmaceutical effect. And one of the tasks of the medicinal chemist is to take an active compound and to modify the structure of the lead or analog to achieve the desired ADME properties. And what are these? It should be potentially effective in treating a patient. It means that the drugs should be effectively effective so much that it can treat a patient in a very well way. And produced in sufficient quantities mean the drug must be produced in sufficient quantity. It must be available through the large area in many cities, in many countries, and capable of being dispensed in a dosage form acceptable to the patient. And it must be not too toxic for the human beings, and it must not exhibit the teratogenicity. It means that which result in the infant diseases. Also, the commercial development must be cost effective, not be so much. You can say drug is so much uh, expensive one that it's not in the limit of a patient. The drug is not approachable, and therefore its commercial development must be the cost effective one. It was all about ADME and pharmacokinetic phase. And for assignment, you have to draw the metabolic pathways for the augmentin and metformin drugs, and what type of drugs are eliminated by the lungs, tears, and saliva. You have to make their list and brief how they are eliminated, how these drug molecules are eliminated through the lungs, tears, and the saliva. Best wishes, student, and Allah Hafiz.